Also, Dad, just coming back to Allsop, I was going to mention this when we spoke about the goal, but I forgot. In Taylor Gardner Hickman's post-match interview, he referred to him as sometimes it's like playing with David Beckham.
Yeah.
So look, that's got to be the ultimate compliment to Allsop's distribution. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And on Saturday, Birmingham City picked up a huge 3 points against Wycombe Wanderers with a 1-0 win. And when you think about this time of the season, the tired legs, the injuries that Blues have, it makes it even more impressive. And that's another clean sheet, 18 games unbeaten. And we've only conceded 4 goals since we lost away at Shrewsbury back in November. But let's get back into the game, Dad. Birmingham City 1, Wycombe Wanderers 0. What were your thoughts?
Well, first versus second, you win those games. It is a real 6-pointer, but of course it's extended our lead to them to 12 points with a game in hand, and we deserved it. I think that we'll come on to the mechanics of the game, but I remember thinking in the first half, at the end of half time, I thought they didn't look like a team in second place. We completely outshone them, had a very good chance. So we should have been 3 or 4 up at half time. And then they showed a bit more about them, didn't they, in the second half when they came back out and, they were down to 10 men, but they looked like a team that had a bit of quality about them. They created 1 or 2 chances. So fair play to them in the second half. But ultimately, it's a big win for us, Ace.
A huge win, isn't it, Dad?
Big win, yeah.
The way you get promoted, in my opinion, is beating the teams around you.
Yeah.
If you can beat second, and we beat Wycombe home and away now.
Yeah.
Really, really solid. 6 points, 3 points this weekend. So, and I think you summarised it only in 2 sentences quite well there. I thought the first half we were outstanding. High press, good energy. And what I like to see in the first half, Dad, I felt like we out-battled them. And I'm loving that side of our Blues game this season. After last season, we came away so deflated with the lack of passion and desire from our players, whereas this season, how many players has Clara put over the hoardings? He's so physical. We've got that battle about us. We've got that edge. We've got that resilience. And I saw the Chris Davies post-match interview, Dad, and we'll get into the mechanics and the specifics in a minute, but he mentioned about at half-time with the players not getting frustrated, especially Wycombe. They're second for a reason, aren't they? So Chris Davies said, don't get frustrated. Let's play our game, be patient. And again, it just showed our resilience, didn't it?
It did. And you've got to also look at the depth of our squad now. And obviously, we've got more injuries. We'll talk about those in a moment as well. But, we had no Jay Stansfield, no Keshi Anderson, no Scott Wright, no Mark Leonard. And you go through the team, and there's a load of players that would be first choice players, but they are injured. So we're still managing through our squad to accumulate wins and points, and that shows you. We did say this though, didn't we? I mean, if you look back at some of our pre and post match podcasts that we've in the past, we did say that the strength of our squad would start to tell from January onwards, which has because that's traditionally the time that teams start to get these loads of games, 2 games a week, cup games, injuries, suspensions. But we knew the strength of our squad was going to be a key factor in this, and now we're starting to pull away because of that very reason.
Well, the difference is that when you listen to like Richie Wellens at Leyton Orient, there's a couple of other managers as well, they openly admit because of the budget restraints that they haven't got the quality and depth.
Yeah.
And as you said, we've been saying since about November, December, Blues will accelerate in February, March due to our depth. Because let's pick a team like Orient or the teams who are in and around the playoffs, maybe mid-table. They probably got 3 or 4, maybe 5 players on the bench that have to cover each position. We've had 1-to-1 in each position, haven't we? Pretty much. Good cover across the entire squad. I mean, I am a little bit worried, Dad, because Allsop went off injured, Laird went off injured. So another 2. That was my only real negative from the game, really, is our injuries are stacking up, and those physios must be busy at Blues because it really is starting to add up, isn't it?
I've not been concerned about any position through the season because of the cover, but apart from goalkeeper, and I've made that known in previous podcasts that I'm always worried about if Allsop gets injured, what would happen. As it happens, we're in a position now where we have accumulated so many points that we could afford to slip up. We don't want to, but we could afford. If we had a couple of defeats, we don't want that, but there's enough buffer to allow us that to happen. But the goalkeeper was always a worry for me, and even when Bailey Peacock-Farrell came on for the last part of the game, I'm just keeping the ball away from him. But at the end of the day, this is not a blast at Bailey Peacock-Farrell.
No.
If he puts a blue shirt on, we always support him. But we know what happened at the beginning of the season, and that if Allsop is injured, it is a worry for us Blue fans, and also shows us as well that's clearly a position we've got to strengthen as well.
You're right, Dad, because Laird's injured now, but we know we've got Bielek to come into cover. If Cochrane gets injured, we know we've got Samstead and Lee who can cover. Even in midfield, we know Taylor Gardner Hickman can go there. Paiken
We've
Awata are
got
back now. But
Grant Handley for Clara and Davies.
It's-
The
we've got-
midfield, we've got cover. Yeah,
we've got cover everywhere. But I do agree, the one area which makes me nervous is the goalkeeper. But we will deal with that as we move forward as a club. But
Well, I think that some of them
you know,
injuries will start to come back. They will do, because he did say that
Yeah.
Jay Stansfield's on a day-to-day basis. They said Mark Leonard's not too far away, so we are going to start to get some of these players back. But it was interesting to see it was exactly the same starting lineup and exactly the same bench as Leighton Orient game.
it has to be, don't it?
It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean,
At the
'cause
moment, it kind of has to be, because we haven't, again, because the injury list, we haven't really got.
It's
much towards it.
whether Chris Davies felt that he wanted to bring some of those people on the bench into the starting lineup. The likes of Grant Handley, for example,
Mm-hmm.
you could argue a case for him that maybe that Davies or Clara deserve a rest.
Yeah.
Where obviously, didn't
But I
feel
think
was
that
the game.
we've only conceded 4 goals in 18 games for a very specific
So you
reason.
can't change it,
and
can
that's
you?
Clara and Davies.
No, totally. Why change that? The Wycombe team was a strong team, but they did have Kone, who we know is coming back from injury. He came on in the second half. Luke Lee, he surprised me that he was on the bench. I don't know why. Maybe that's an injury or niggle he's been having, but he started against us at Wycombe, and I felt he was their best player in that game.
Yeah.
They had Adam Reach, who came on when their player was sent off, and Sonny Bradley. So they had a strong bench. And in the first half, I think it showed. I mean, we had chances left, right, and centre, didn't we? We were quite aggressive, and I like that. Like you said, we pressed, we bullied them in the first half. So when they did have the ball, we got it straight back, and that opened up a few chances for us as well. First 15 minutes, which we've criticised the Blues in the past about being slow starters in certain games, not in this game.
No.
We went straight at them, and this is maybe what we need to be doing every single game. So chances started to come, didn't they? Alfie May had a good chance. He shot the ball again, but it was a good save by Will Norris, their goalkeeper. And then we had that. We all got up when we scored that goal, which was eventually offside.
Yeah, I know.
Because we're down to Tilton, and that went in, and because of where we were, we didn't know it was offside. It must have been pretty tight. A great pass, from Ben Davies, and Dowell, took a couple of touches, shot it past the goalkeeper, and then we all got up and celebrated, and then the offside flag
Do
went.
you think it was off on reflection?
It's tight, isn't
tight,
it?
isn't it?
I always go by the reaction of the fans on that side of the pitch, and there weren't a huge reaction from the fans over there, so it would have been one of those tight ones.
Yeah.
With the benefit, Matt, of VAR and replays, we can always analyse in decisions, but we haven't got VAR in this league, and we obviously the referees and the assistant referees are making their decisions in real time. And always go off the reaction of fans who are in line. It must have been offside because there wasn't a massive reaction from fans on that side of the pitch. But it was disappointing because we felt at that point when that goal went in, which was a non-goal that went in because it was disallowed, felt that we deserved to be on top because we completely dominated. That game.
But again, Dad, how many times have we gone in at half time this season and said we should be 3 or 4 up? It's happened borderline every second game.
Well,
we should be.
That is a real good point, Matt. And we could that. If you're 1-0 up or winning by 1 goal, 2-1 or 3-2 or whatever, there's always the possibility that the other team could get deflected, penalty. I'm not going to say it.
Don't reference that game.
I'm not going to reference the Northampton game. But obviously you get deflected, shot, penalty. But actually they had a really good chance, which we'll come on to in the second half as well, where they nearly scored. But then let's talk about our goal because it was a great goal.
Fantastic.
And again, what an assist from Allsop.
Yeah. I was going to say that because Taylor Gardner Hickman's going to get all the plaudits. Fair enough, he scored the goal, but I think Allsop deserves just as much credit for that. I mean, as a Blues fan, Wycombe fans might be looking and going, "Oh, that was a one-off good pass." No. Allsop has been outstanding the entire season.
Distribution has just got better and better.
I mean, the amount of times he's played in Laird directly from going forward on that right-hand side has just been. I've lost count how many times he's done that, and his passing is phenomenal. So beautiful ball. I mean, this was a 3-touch goal. Allsop to Taylor Gardner Hickman. Taylor Gardner Hickman's chest, boom, in off the goalkeeper.
Everything about it, from our perspective, was brilliant. Fantastic weighted ball from Allsop, a great control from the chest, and he just wellied it. And their goalkeeper touched it.
Yeah.
And we thought, but of course, then the momentum of the pace of the shot took the ball over the line. It was a great goal. I know their manager, Mike Dodds, he basically referred to it from their perspective as a crap goal. He actually used that word. But
it's going to appear that way because the keeper will have hoped and thought he would have got a stronger hand to it,
I
wouldn't he?
think, I think it was more from their perspective. What he was more
Bad
referring
defending.
to, the
Right.
defending. You should never concede a goal like that.
No.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't allow a player just to control. It's a little bit like the Dykes goal against Lincoln when he had the big ping to him, when he pressed on his chest, went round. And, it's a similar type of give the player too much space, and he's always got a chance of pinging.
I mean, there's two areas for Wycombe there, which are bad. One is direct, route one. You don't get caught out route one, long ball like you do with Allsop. And number two, the space that Taylor Gardner Hickman had to chest it. But take nothing away from Blues. That was a great goal, great assist, great strike. I mean, the keeper, in my opinion, should be doing slightly better there. But take nothing.
But he got a touch to it.
He got a touch to it.
I think it took him by surprise because it was so instant, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, fantastic
kick from
goal.
the goalkeeper, touch, bang. And I think that caught everybody out by the timing of how that quickly that happened.
Taking nothing away from the goal, Dad. But I think if you were that goalkeeper putting your head on the pillow at night, you'd think, what if I just got a slightly stronger hand on that? That's all I'm saying. But no, take nothing away from the goal, Blues or Taylor Gardner Hickman. Fantastic goal, and that makes it Blues 1, Wycombe 0, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And before we get into the furthermore, I just want to say, because we're in the first half, I mean, we talk about Clara, don't we, and Stansfield. There's a couple of players for Blues, Dad, who we say can play at a higher level. Pake's one of them. He is absolutely outstanding. For me, he completely controlled that first half. And Dad, me and you talk about picking the pace up with Blues. We look dangerous when we pick the speed up when we go at teams. And Pake is that person who dictates the pace.
Yeah.
He dictates what direction we go. He dictates the whole Blues game. When you look at what he does, he looks underwhelming sometimes when you look at, if you kind of put your peripheral vision on. But when you really zone in on what Pake does, he's outstanding. Completely controlled that game. His link-up play, his passing, creating those little triangles. I think Pake is a high-end championship level player at the moment. I think he's outstanding.
I agree. I like it as well when he has that burst of pace. So he looks like he's just going to shield the ball, and suddenly he'll just go. Mm-hmm. That catches players out as well. But his distribution is good. He's quite an intelligent player, isn't he? So he knows when to play and what type of ball to play.
I like to use the word the orchestrator.
Yeah.
Just dictates the play, dictates the pace. And when he's on form, Blues are on form, especially moving forward.
He's the creative engine, whereas a Water, even though he can be creative, he's more of an enforcer.
He breaks up play.
Yeah, so it's a great combination to have in the centre of our midfield. Coming on to a Water, not long after we scored, a Water had a great chance as well. He a great shot from not far out, about 10, 15 yards out, and it was saved just by their goalkeeper, knocked it just wide of the post. That could have been 2-0. Then Wycombe had a chance not long after that, around about the half an hour mark. Udo, the ball came up high and Udo backed into our defender. I think it might have been Ben Davies, but that teed the ball up for Fede Onidima. And he blasted it, and it was wide of the right-hand post. Mm-hmm. But if it would have been on target, it would have been at the right height just to go under the bar. But it was wide, and that was a bit of a warning shot for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that brings us on to arguably one of the big talking points of the game, Dad, and that's the red card on Laird.
Yeah, sending off. I've looked at this again. I think there's an argument. When I first saw it, obviously we're down the other end of the ground. It happened in the same place as the Orient sending off, didn't it? So it's a bit further for
similar,
us.
Yeah, similar.
It's further away. But again, if I say to you, I go by the reaction of the fans were up straight away on that side of the pitch. Mm-hmm. And when I looked at it, Laird gets the ball, dinks it past him, and this what's his name, Xavier Simons, literally just steamrollers in and actually what you see is his leg takes Laird's leg, and so it could have broke his foot.
He stood to showing as well.
Yeah, some people would argue that's more of a yellow card than a red card. I'm not so sure. I've watched it a few times, and again, I know that Wycombe fans will say it's a yellow all day long. Of course they will. But to me, the nature of the momentum and the speed and the angle of his leg, I think that was a red card.
I think it's the intent behind it, Dad. So, it's a yellow if it's an accidental clip with your studs down and you've clearly just mistimed it. To me, this looked like he wanted to wipe him out. He had no intention of playing the ball. His studs were high. I mean, in the moment, Dad, when I watched it, I thought it was a yellow because I just thought it was a late challenge, nothing cynical behind it. I will say that I thought it was a yellow. But on replay, his studs are up. He's got nowhere near Laird, and it looks like he just wants to go through him. And it is a red card because it's dangerous play.
Yeah. It's right in front of the lino as well.
And I think refs should clamp down on this when the studs are showing and they clearly just want to go through him. And Dad, fair play to Laird here because he lured him in.
Yeah.
And with Laird's pace, he got ahead of him, and he kind of he didn't force him into the challenge, but he lured him into the challenge. So fair play to Laird in that regard. But no, dangerous tackle. Studs was showing, could have been dangerous. A red card.
A red card. And as I say, the assistant referee was right in that position. I think the referee had a chat with the assistant referee, and before they decided to give the red. But it was a red. I mean, it was obviously serious foul play. You could tell the way the contact was made, and that sort of made life difficult for them because they was already under the crush. That was just before half time, so if anything, it was a good time for them because they could go and regroup. And he made a number of changes. He brought on Adam Reach, didn't he? And I remember Adam Reach as a really good quality player when he played for Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah,
and he brought him on at left. Was it no? Was I think Xavier Simons was was in their midfield, and Adam Reach is a midfielder as well. So he brought him on. But then in the second half, they went three at the back. They went three at the back, and I think that changed their shape, and that made them much more effective.
Yeah.
They came out well in the second half, actually, to start.
What I found strange, Dad, with the Wycombe game is, I found their setup really confusing because they played quite a high line, not massively aggressive high line, but contextually for League One, what we've seen, they played quite a high line, but they wasn't pressing us very much. So it was a contradiction. It was quite an aggressive lines formation, but there was no aggression behind their style of play.
I don't think they knew what to do, Matt. I think they were chasing shadows.
It was really bizarre, though.
Because we had the ball and we played good football and we were pinging it around them, but when they did get the ball, we were straight on them.
Yeah.
I just don't think they had any time to do anything, and I think that's why we were so good in the first half. And, but like I say, it was only 1-0 at half time. And you always in the back of your mind think there's a chance that something could happen here. And they came out well in the second half.
They did.
They had a number of chances, didn't they?
They did.
They won Sonny Bradley, obviously Caleb Taylor. They're always a threat from set pieces and, high balls into the air. And, they had a combination with Bradley and Caleb Taylor early in the second half when Bradley nodded the ball down to, I think it was Lowe, and then he basically took a shot from close range, but also reacted quickly, and that's and obviously created the save. So they did have chances, and then they had that chance towards the end of the second half when they went down the left hand side, didn't they? Crossed it in, and their player got in front of our defender, but actually because it just rolled wide of the post on another day, that could potentially have rolled in, but it didn't.
And this is what we come back to that, isn't it? Only being 1-0 up, you're always vulnerable to them scoring. Even you could be playing the best game of your life if it's 1-0.
Yeah.
Northampton.
Yeah.
That all it takes is one little chance for them to get through. And what I'd say about the second half, Dad, is actually it's a double-edged sword for me because we lost our shape a little bit.
Yeah.
I felt like the triangle and the passing link-up wasn't where it was in the first half. Tired legs, tired minds. We've said this a lot. These players are shattered. Chris Davies in his post-match interview said that he's really proud of the boys because they're giving everything in every game that they have.
Yeah.
They're tired. Someone even commented on our childhood, I've got fan fatigue or something, or match fatigue. It's a long season. We go to a lot of games we watch. The players are playing a lot of games. I think we dropped that sort of shape in the second half. But what I will say, the double edge of that sword is we still showed our resilience. We dug in there. We got it over the line and we got those 3 points. And to me, it doesn't always have to be pretty both halves. Who cares? If you get over the line and get those 3 points, it doesn't matter, does it? But
absolutely.
As I say, that shape was kind of lost a little bit, but it doesn't matter. We got it over the line.
I think another factor that we haven't mentioned that did influence the game, particularly as the second half went on, is that we had a midweek game. They didn't. They had a whole week between their last game. That makes a massive difference.
It does, yeah.
So their fitness levels are going to be slightly better than ours because the fact that they have more of a break. And again, that's why you've got to give credit to the Blues players. Let's talk about the injuries as well, Matt, towards the end, which I think are, again, I think a lot of Blues fans are getting concerned with the way the injuries are stacking up now. To key players as well. The big one for me was Allsop. We mentioned this towards the beginning. It is a worry for me that if he's not fit, then the only option is going to be Bailey Peacock-Farrell in goal. And I think he twisted his ankle. I don't think it's a serious one, but it could be enough to knock him out for a week or two. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just speculating here. I don't know. But he apparently jumped up, and I think he landed his ankle and twisted it, didn't he? So he's got a bit of a a not nasty one, but one that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, twisted ankle can be a pain in the bum. It's a nasty one.
Pain in the ankle.
There you go.
If it's a pain in the bum, that's a different medical condition altogether.
Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's a niggly one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they can be sore, and it can take a little while. So hopefully he's okay. You're right, Dad, because we talk about the 4 goals conceded in the last 18 games. To me, that's the defence on Allsop.
Yeah. Well, Laird, in terms of the shot stopper as a goalkeeper, he's also part of the build-up, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you know that if you were to lose him, I think it just highlights a problem that we know that we've all got. We all will support Bailey Peacock-Farrell in goal. Of course we will. He's a Blues player. We'll support him. But there's not many Blues fans that I've spoken to that are comfortable when he's in goal. But hopefully Allsop isn't too serious and we can get him back quickly. And there's also Ethan Laird as well. He looked like he took a bit of a twinge. I didn't think it didn't look a serious injury, but I think he did sort of slightly hobble off. I don't know whether it's a hamstring or a calf or whatever.
Also, Dad, just coming back to Allsop, I was going to mention this when we spoke about the goal, but I forgot. In Taylor Gardner Hickman's post-match interview, he referred to him as sometimes it's like playing with David Beckham.
Yeah.
So look, that's got to be the ultimate compliment to Allsop's distribution.
Yeah. And he deserves that compliment as well because his distribution's been brilliant.
And if you've seen the meme, Dad, that Blues put out, he goes, what we see Allsop doing and then what Allsop sees himself. And one of him's in a goalkeeper shirt and one of them's in an actual Blues playing one of the first team 11 shirts. So he's like, his distribution's that good. He's just part of the starting.
There was one team he played, I think it might have been Cambridge, and the Blues social media put out a tweet or social media thing. So, Ryan Allsop's highlights. And literally, it was just him walking out at the beginning of the game. That was it. I think it was Cambridge. It might have been Bristol Rovers. I don't know, but it was a very tongue-in-cheek type of not good for the opposition. But let's hope them both those two players are not too far away, because obviously we've got a big game against Bolton now. So overall for me, Matt, a good first half dominant performance. So we blew them away, and we should have been 3 or 4 up. And I think Wycombe would admit that as well. On Wycombe, I think that they disappointed me in the first half, but they showed their credentials in the second half. But I would say that they've got a very, very tough running of games. They've played us now, but they've got to play every team second down to about 9th, either home or away. Yeah. Whereas the other teams haven't got to play all of them. After this game, we've got Bolton, who are in 7th.
They are.
Then we don't play any team from 9th, I think, or above, home or away. That don't make those games easy, by the way, because we're playing teams that are going to be trying to fight for relegation, trying to maybe sneak into the playoffs.
It's that time of season, isn't it?
It is. So no game's easy, and I'm not for suggesting that for 1 minute. But what I'm saying is that we're not playing any of those teams around us anymore, but they will be playing each other.
So basically, what you're saying is they take points off each other.
They'll take points off each other as well. So that's really good. Clearly, we are now 12 points ahead of Wycombe with the game in hand and 14 points above Wrexham, who are in 3rd place, and with a game in hand. So we've put ourselves in a really, really strong position. To me, the work rate was what really caught my attention in terms of these players have played that many games, yet they can still put in a performance like that. And it's not surprising in the second half that they get a bit tired because they're absolutely running around like lunatics.
In the first half, Dad, our press and our energy was absolutely insane. Yeah. When you think about the context of the amount of games we've been playing. Yeah. Truly
I think Williamson played the full 90 minutes, but for me, he's still got to do more for me. I know that he's getting back to full fitness, but he's in a really important position in that team, in that number 10. And I'd just like to see a little bit more from him. He had the odd quality touch, but he does lose the ball and tends to play backwards a lot. So I wanted to get back to the player that we saw when he was, because we know there's a decent player in there.
Just before pre-Christmas, wasn't he? He was absolutely on fire, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I think that Hansen looked good and lively when he came on. That's a positive. He's a real plus for us to get him back. And overall in the whole game, we had 69% possession against a team that is 2nd place in this league. 69%, 14 shots and 5 on target, to Wycombe's 6 shots and 1 on target. So everything is looking good. And as you mentioned, let's mention this again. You mentioned this at the beginning of this podcast. 18 games unbeaten since the defeat at Shrewsbury, and in that we've won 14 of those 18, drawn 4, and we've only conceded 4 goals.
Staggering. It is staggering.
That is absolutely. I mean, if that's not promotion form, I don't know what is.
Oh yeah, I know.
I think that we won 76 points now, so 15 points would take us to 91. So 5 wins, and that 90 is normally enough for automatic promotion. So 5 wins out of our last 14 games. Yeah, is it 14 games?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
will get us over the line. So we're in a very, very strong position now. We have got the injuries of the worry, but we've just got to keep going.
As always, Birmingham City supporters, we'd love to hear from you. So please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And Wycombe fans, maybe you've tuned into the pre-video, maybe you've checked in for the first time. Please let us know your thoughts on that performance and how you think your team did as well. If you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page. You can also listen to us and watch us over on Spotify as well if you like that platform to consume your podcasts. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and press that bell notification so you get notified every time we post a video. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.